Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video, and it's here. It is the dawn of Shadowlands, and I wanted to run you through my plans for leveling, give you a couple of tips when it comes to add-on strategies and items that you may want to consider. Take into account that I think that I'm probably not going to be a world first leveler. I just want to have a good experience and go as fast as I can and keep things simple, right? So if you want a simple structured guide to just get in there, get things going, you don't really want to be bogged down with perfectionist details, then I think this will be a good guide for you. It is my intentions to level my paladin as my first character, and I will be leveling it as protection. The main reason for this is that I can pull lots of monsters, AoE them down very easily. I can take on multiple enemies in player versus player with war mode on, which I intend to level with because I think it is a better experience overall. And as a tank, I can take on multiple enemies, as I said. And if I ever want to not take a fight, I have the option to just bubble hearth or just run away. And this is probably when I encounter healers. I'm going to be avoiding healers, but if any rogues try and attack me or anything like that, I will gladly take them on. Maybe create a couple of montages of doing some like 1 versus 5s. I think I'll be able to pull that off pretty effectively as protection. Retribution is a good option as well. If you're leveling a paladin first, you can decide to go with that as well. As far as add-ons go, I'm going to be using the Azeroth autopilot. If you're someone like me that gets really confused when you don't know if a quest is in a cave or up on top of a mountain and trying to figure out which arrow to go and follow, this is an add-on that's just going to run you through very streamlined, and you can just focus on grinding mobs and engaging in fights and following the green arrow everywhere you need to go. If you're looking for a more immersive experience and reading the text, then I don't recommend using the Azeroth autopilot, but this was my favorite add-on in Battle for Azeroth, and I intend to use it moving into Shadowlands. Something you may also want to consider is riding equipment. Here I'm going to be using the comfortable rider's barding. You can get this at the auction house for not that much gold. You just put it in this little box and it will equip it so that when you're mounted, you can no longer be dazed. Really important, especially if you're going to be pulling a lot of monsters all at once. You want to just run through them on your mount, not get dazed, gather them up and AoE them down. There's not a lot of water to walk on, so the water walking one I didn't think was a big deal. I think not getting dazed is going to be a little bit more important. And then another like little small quality of life one you may want to consider, and for me, because I want to make some really cool PvP moments, is the goblin gliders. These give you nice little skips when you want to jump off of a mountain and glide down to a different questing area, or escape from enemies by jumping off a cliff, and they didn't have these in your bag. So this is one item that I wanted to go and get. Again, didn't cost too much gold. The goblin glider kit on the auction house is relatively cheap. And those are kind of just the basic leveling tips. Aside from that, make sure your bags are empty. Get a cool looking transmog together. Maybe get some water in game and out to get ready. I've got a couple of equipment sets for multiple specs. If at any point if I get bored of prod, I can switch over to ret. Other advantage of leveling as a tank is your dungeon queues for quests is going to be instant. So there's a really big advantage there. And then in terms of specialization and build, if you're wondering what talent specifically I'm going to be running as protection, I'm going to be running Holy Shield. This is just, again, enemies attack you, they regret it. It's going to reflect damage back onto the attackers. Crusader's Judgment to get more charges of holy power, to get more Shield of the Righteous for more damage. I've decided to run Fist of Justice to get a lower cooldown stun in case I'm going player to player in PvP, or there's important monsters that I need to stun to protect myself. I think it's more important than the other crowd control options. Here you have a couple of choices. You could run Cavalier if you want to move around a little bit faster and more often, but Glyph Spell Warding, it just replaces your Blessing of Protection, so it's now magic. This is generally more powerful in PvP, and that's the main reason. It's one of the best things about the Protection Paladin in PvP, and you're never going to really lose to any ranged caster DPS, non-hybrid, even hybrid, with this to deny all of their burst damage. Seraphim is going to just give you massive damage every 45 seconds. I really like this one as protection. And then you have a choice here. If you're leveling by yourself, Concentrated Ground is a great pickup because it's just going to provide you a snare so enemies can't escape from you. It can be pretty difficult to hold enemies down when they're trying to run away, so this is just a nice little snare addition. But if you're leveling in a group, you may want Word of Glory, healing by the target's missing health on allies as well. so you can heal multiple targets. Sanctified Wrath just for more damage, pretty straightforward. So 1, 2, 1, 3, 3, 2, 1. Honor talents, Warrior of Light, more Shield of the Righteous damage. You're not too worried about the armor part of it, especially while leveling. Guardian of the Forgotten Queens, just another immunity cooldown to really make sure you're never dying to any burst damage or an oh no moment. If you pulled too many monsters, you can immune it and then AoE monsters down. And then finally, Judgments of the Pure. Whenever you cast Judgment upon an enemy, a nearby ally within yards is healed for 569. So you may want this if you're leveling with a partner. If not, running Sacred Duty to reduce the cooldown of your spell warding is great, because then you're getting it every 2 minutes. And then that way, again, if you're like me, wanting to create some epic PvP moments, you're always going to have a defensive cooldown and you're going to always be able to deal with it. So for myself personally, this is just kind of like the basics. Get in there and get it done. What I plan on utilizing, if you don't want to be too worried about memorizing a whole bunch of dungeon routes, and min-maxing it absolutely to the perfection, and you just want like the war mode experience, good old World of Warcraft leveling experience, then I hope that this information was helpful to you. If it was, leave the video with a thumbs up, and follow me on twitch.tv/Supatease if you want to follow all the action live. I plan on leveling multiple characters, but I just wanted to go over the Paladin first, as it was going to be my first character to max level. And other than that, leave a comment down below with what your plans are. What class are you planning on leveling? What covenant are you planning on picking? Because it seems to be like a pretty difficult decision to make in Shadowlands. So all of the information we can get out there is going to just help all of us even more so in terms of what we're going to be going for and what we're aiming at, because we ultimately don't want to feel like we've made a mistake. Hopefully Blizzard won't let us down in that regard with their tuning, so that we can all feel like we haven't made a massive error when it comes to our covenant selection. And aside from that, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for following along the entire beta phase. I hope that you have enjoyed the videos over these past couple months. I do plan on continuing to upload throughout Shadowlands. So if you like this type of content, then please hit the subscribe button, as it will notify you when my videos go live. And aside from that, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in Shadowlands.